All right, welcome everybody. Dr. Keith here. Hope you're doing well. Again, Happy New Year to those of you that I have not had a chance to say that to yet. So let's try to make 2021 a great year for us all. Okay, so before we get started again, can you just type in a Y if you can hear me okay, and if you can see my slides. I just got a few slides today before we get into the charts. Great, thanks Linda, Mike, good to see you. Happy New Year. Fantastic, David. Okay. So for some of you, you may have attended when I talked about Heikin Ashi, what was it, late last year with Thinkorswim, and today I'm focusing on TradeStation. Typically when I get something programmed for Thinkorswim first, then from there, if there's enough demand and there's an advantage for myself, I'll get something then programmed for TradeStation as well. And those of you that have been using TradeStation know that TradeStation can be pretty powerful on scanning and just a lot of different features. So I'm real excited to show this product today. Again, I'm a huge fan of Heikin Ashi. As you know, most of you anyway that know me, I use it in conjunction with seasonality to really gain that edge. But the cool thing about Heikin Ashi is it can be a strategy on its own. Okay, so some of you are on the call and you're like, well, Dr. Keith, that's great, but for whatever reason, I don't think seasonality works. Okay. Well, Heikin Ashi is definitely still something that you can use. It's a tool that will help you stay in a trade, folks. And that's really the key is, as I do mentoring, I get a lot of clients that will say comments like this. Well, Dr. Keith, I went in, I got into Apple, I got out, but I was happy because I made 20%. And unfortunately, the problem with that is, do you do the same then when you're not making money on a trade, right? Or do you hold on to it? And to me, when you really want to have the market at your mercy is when you are right on the trade, you want to maximize those profits. You want to be as greedy as you can, okay? Because there's on the other side of it, when you don't win a trade, right? You're not getting brokers calling you saying, hey, let me just help you out a little bit there, right? So let's have some runners. And the cool thing with TradeStation, I'll be able to show you, be able to go back and look to see some of these trades as well, as we look for our daily scans as well. So anyway, with that, today won't be longer than 30 minutes. At least I'd be shocked if it was. Some of these slides are going to be very similar. First, though, let me start out by, again, having you read that important notice. And as I normally say is, first and foremost, you should not trade with money that you cannot afford to lose. I don't want you to, for one. I think it's from a psychology standpoint, if you're trading to make that home run and to pay your rent, it's going to be very difficult, right? Most retailer traders fail. So only trade with money that you can afford to lose for many reasons as you go through this and read this over, okay? All right, so again, today's agenda, we're going to focus on Heikin Ashi today, okay? So when I do show you my live charts, I don't have anything else on there other than standard Bollinger Bands and Heikin Ashi and Heikin Ashi dots, okay? Yes, I use my seasonal system in conjunction with Heikin Ashi, but today I want to focus on Heikin Ashi, okay? So the cool thing about the internet, right? I don't have to spend a lot of time telling you the formulas of Heikin Ashi, but you can look it all up, okay? But let me give you the professor side of me, okay? This is what I like about my experience, teaching finance courses for 15 years now, on and off, is this. I like to simplify things. I like to give you bottom line, okay? So I could do a 20-minute extremely boring session on Heikin Ashi, the formula and that, but if you really want to know that, okay, well, trust me, I know some of you do. Go ahead and look it up, okay? But what I want to focus on today is the advantages of using it, okay? The advantages of using Heikin Ashi. Basically what it does is it averages price data to create these candlesticks that we're going to see here that filters out the market noise. And that's really the key, okay? it filters out the noise, because those of you, you get into a trade, and if you have a day or two that goes in the opposite direction, right, you may exit the trade and then it goes back into your advantage, right? Well, when you use Heikin Ashi, again, it really is kind of that person behind your shoulder saying, just relax, everything's cool, or when it's time to exit, then it'll help you exit that trade. Okay, so Heikin Ashi is more of a chilling out type indicator that can be extremely effective in keeping you in trends at all time levels. Okay, so I'm going to focus on the daily chart today, swing trading, okay, being in the trade for a few days or in longer. You could absolutely use this on any time frame, based on your techniques. Okay, the other time frame I love to use it on personally is the 4-hour time frame, but again, and day trading. Okay. Yeah, so there's a lot of type of indicators. Wrinkle charts is another option as well. Okay, I typically, personally, like Heikin Ashi better, but when you're looking at filtering out noise, Heikin Ashi is not the only option. Absolutely. Okay, so again, instead of using the open, high, low, and close of actual price, okay, we use Heikin Ashi uses a modified formula based on 2 period averages. Okay, so again, just by that term, right, it'll tell you that it kind of helps eliminate some of that noise behind the scenes, right? Okay. So again, when you look at a chart, you look at a Heikin Ashi, it's going to be a smoother appearance. Okay, and the good news is, if you look at a chart and you have a green candle, a red candle, a green candle, a red candle, stay the heck out of that stock, futures, or Forex. Okay. The other thing is, today I'm also focusing on stocks. Obviously, same system using futures or Forex, folks. Okay. So one question before we get into it, just so I can stay up on my questions today, we have plenty of time, is this a forward-looking indicator? How does it compare to Bollinger Band? So as you'll see when I open up my live charts, I still have the Bollinger Band on there, based off of actual price, not the Heikin Ashi price. Okay, and you don't have to have Bollinger Bands on your chart. You could use moving averages, to demonstrate what you think the trend is, if you want to just trade on the trend. Or you could put a 200 period moving average on your chart, and if it's above it, only look for longs, and so forth. Right. So there's a lot of strategies. The reason why I use Bollinger Bands for swing trading is I like to, it really shows me the overall trends. Okay. But in saying that, when I'm using Heikin Ashi now, if it keeps going, let's say green candles, which I'll show you some examples of, and it's basically flushed up against that top Bollinger Band, as long as Heikin Ashi is still saying, hey, it's time to stay in this trade still, I'm staying in it. Okay. So again, today's template is going to show you the Bollinger Band. You can put moving averages, however you wanted to handle it. It's a different type of indicator, the Heikin Ashi, than it is the Bollinger Band. They're different, right? They're not meant to be competing, and so forth. So again, we'll get into that here in just a minute as well. Okay. So here's what I did, folks. So in TradeStation, I had it programmed, that you got the Heikin, these are Heikin Ashi candles, okay? But just like with Thinkorswim, you see here where you've got the red line, okay, that's the actual price of the close of that candle. And then the actual open of that is that white line, okay? So that way, when you look at a candle like this one right here, when you have a white line, okay, that tells you that price opened up here of actual price, and it closed right here. Then you've got the actual Heikin Ashi body saying that's a pretty dominant Heikin Ashi red, right? When you've got that much color on a bar, just like you did here, okay, that's demonstrating good selling activity on this particular instrument. And just like over here, with the green. When you have solid green Heikin candles, okay, that tells you the trend definitely should stay intact. Okay, so again, we've got the little lines here that tells you and shows you what the actual price is. That way you don't have to go back and forth and try to figure out, because remember, and I'll show you an example, let me find one. You can have a case where price opens, you know, let's say price, let me see if I can find one real quick here. So price, yeah, right here. Price on this candle, right? The Heikin is green, right? But price opened up here and closed here. So if you looked at a price candle, it would be red. Does that make sense? But Heikin was still telling you it's more of a bullish candle, okay? And then the next candle happened to be a big wick, which is always something telling you maybe that's a blow off as a top. But regardless, right, you can see here it opened here and closed here. So you can see the open and close of actual price behind the scenes here, and then have the actual Heikin telling you, you know, what is the high probability direction, okay? Again, let me know if you have any questions on that. And then just like with TradeStation, then I just program the dots, because what's great about the dots is once you're in a trade or you look to get into a trade, okay, even when you're back testing, looking at charts, you can then see, you know, when it's time to enter or exit that trade, which I'll explain in the live charts. Okay, so you know, when you see the yellow dots are a change in the Heikin direction. Okay, and then if you get a second one, then it turns to that color in that direction, right? So the yellow are pivot points, basically potential. Now you could have several yellow dots in a row, right? And if that happens, that means you're consolidating, because if you have, you know, 3 yellows in a row, what it means is that you went from a green Heikin to a red, back to a green, or vice versa, right? And so forth. So again, when you're looking at charts, that can be very handy. A lot of folks will get into a trade and then they just won't exit at least part of their trade until they get the opposite color dot. That's the way to maximize some of those profits, okay? And then, so that's the price with the Heikin. And then, you know, obviously with TradeStation, it's got the fantastic radar screen, right? So basically what I did was I had it programmed here where it will tell you on anything you put in the radar screen, if it's a red, you know, red Heikin or a green Heikin, okay, or transition, which is the yellow. That's what these trans are. These are transitions, okay? The U is for up, the D is for down, which is kind of like an orange for the down and a greenish, a yellow greenish for the up, okay? It's telling you the transitions, and then it's telling you, okay, for example, LLY here at the time I took this snapshot is up for 2, which means you have 2 green Heikin candles, okay? And so, you know, this is where you can sort, which I'll show you back and forth. You know, look at, like, we'll look at FedEx, right? It's been down for 15 days, right? So think if you shorted FedEx, okay, and you're following the rules of not exiting until you get another opposite color dot, okay, you're still in that trade. And that's kind of the beauty. And then also, you know, other than the radar screen, which you don't, you know, you can use and add as many stocks as you want. It actually handles over, like, I think it's 1,000 stocks. It can handle in the radar screen itself. And then there's the scan here where you can set up a scan and you can run it whenever you want. You can tell it when to run it. You can say, okay, every evening at 6 p.m., run the scan. And it's going to basically tell you, you know, the new down and ups from the Heikin dots, okay? Okay. I'll get to that when we get to live charts. So if I don't answer it, remind me, okay? So today, these are the 4 parts, okay? You've got the Heikin candles with the actual price, let's call them nipples, okay? And then you've got the dots, the radar screen, and the scan, okay? All right, let's take a look at live charts. So let me stop sharing that and get to the good stuff. Okay. Let me just grab my chat thread in case there's questions. So I'll pause during things like that. Okay. So first of all, can everybody see the TradeStation charts now? I definitely don't want to talk to something that you can't see. All right, thanks. Thanks, Linda, John. Okay. So again, I want to keep this simple today. All you're going to see on there is what I showed you on the PowerPoint, right? Other than the Bollinger Bands. But again, you can replace that with moving averages, you know, anything you want it for direction, okay? Okay, so you can see here, you know, this is DD, okay? So again, you can see today, this is today's bar, okay? This was the open where it's white at 83.56, and this is the close as of right now. So this will move as we're talking if the price of the stock moves, right? Okay, and then this is the Heikin Ashi right here, current price, okay? Which I don't really use, but I have it there in case you wanted to use that, okay? So again, what this is telling you though, folks, this is the important thing. Look at these 5 Heikin Ashi candles, okay? Solid green, you know, solid green candles. That's buying, folks, okay? So as a potential entry, if you're trying to get into this trend, okay, let's say you only trade in trends, maybe that's your system, okay? Well, when you get these retracements, see how you got the red dots, then you get that yellow dot, right? Which means the first green Heikin Ashi, right? That's what that means, okay? So then maybe you get in at the first green dot right here. If you got into that trade, there's no reason to exit at this point. Okay. Now, again, I don't just keep a full position and wait. You know, I personally have my own system where I get out at half my trade and I let the rest run until I get a red dot. Okay. But my point is, we don't know how far this is going to run to, do we? This could go for 20 days. It could go 3 more days. We don't know, but that's how you can really maximize those profits. Okay. So you've got the dot telling you potential re-entry. Okay, let's go back here because again, this is a good example because it's in a nice trend up, right? So again, let's say you got in here and you got out and you're looking for a new entry. So back here, you got the red dot, then you got the yellow. So here's your entry, green right here. Okay, and then you stay in it and maybe you exit then here, just a little bit of a loss, right? Then you get in 2 bars later. Okay. And if you got in here, folks, there's no red dot until right here. See that? Typically what you'll see is, you know, Heikin Ashi will grab you, about 80% of that move during that time frame before they change colors, okay? If you can make 80% of a move, folks, you're gonna be very happy, okay? But think about this. So during this up move, okay, you've got open, close, open, close. Like right here, this if it was actual price candle would be a red candle, okay? This would be a red candle. So if you're exiting on red candles, okay, you're losing potential profits. And that's where, again, Heikin Ashi kind of tells you, leans over your shoulder and says, just relax. There's no reason to get out yet. Like right here, okay, there's no reason to exit this trade yet if you were in this, okay? Okay. Any questions on that, let me know. Okay, so let's get to the good stuff. So over here on the radar screen, okay, all I did is I put in the S&P 100 here. You could put as many stocks as you want in here, or futures or forex, okay? And then once you have your screen, you can sort by clicking on here, just double clicking, you can sort, okay? So let me explain what this means. So for AXP, okay, you basically have 2 down days on the Heikin Ashi. Oh, my system just crashed. Hold on, let me stop sharing here. I'll get right back to you. Hold on. Be with you in just a second. Okay, it happens, right? Technology, you gotta love it. Okay, so let me grab my chat again. It took me out of the chat. Okay. All right, so before we go in more into this radar screen, one of the comments is green, yellow, green dots are confusing. If you're talking about the dots down here, okay, all this is showing you is if it's green, you know the Heikin has a green candle, okay? And where I found this valuable is in the yellows, you know, again, having 4 in a row means you have a green to red, red to green, right? You're having consolidation. So it's really helpful when you go back and you look at charts, okay? Or again, if you have let's say you're looking to go long in a particular stock, okay? You just have to wait for that green dot, okay? And this is something you can hide these. You know, again, I'm just showing you how I trade them. But certainly, I mean, there's many ways and many different ways to look at Heikin Ashi and trade it, okay? The Heikin Ashi dot for Thinkorswim was very popular. You know, folks that have that love it. That's why I incorporated here. So let me show you some examples. So anyway, with that, so what you can do is you can click on here and now you've got everything in order, okay? So what do I look for first? And this updates, folks, the way TradeStation works, it updates for stocks at the market close, okay? So after the bell rings, okay, I usually give it 15 minutes, okay? But then you can then do your research for tomorrow, okay? So let me bring up Apple. Everyone likes Apple. This says trans D, down 1 day, okay? So what that means is, okay, it has a yellow dot. And you're like, well, wait a minute, today's red. Remember, this ran last night. It updates every evening. So this current candle won't register on the radar screen until tonight, okay? But as you're looking for trades, so last night when you were looking for trades, right? If you were looking to short Apple, you got your first Heikin Ashi red, right? The yellow, that's what's showing up here, trans 1. And then you could have got in at the open today. Again, if you were looking to short that, right? I'm just trying to show you the logic of how it is set up, okay? Now let's look at the ups. There's 2 today that has trans up 1 day, okay? Meaning it went from red to yellow, right? But then today it's heading back down. Okay, so when you see a bunch of yellow together, you probably want to stay out of that. You're getting some consolidation. Okay, so I'm going to skip that one for now. And then here you can see again where the ones that we had today that have trans 1, okay, are both having consolidation days. So let me give you an example though, FedEx. Remember we talked about that in the PowerPoint? So when FedEx triggered short back here, okay, what I really want to focus on is not whatever you know, however you use it to get into trades, whatever time frame. Here's the cool thing about Heikin Ashi. If you got in here at the red dot, okay, there's no reason to exit this trade yet, okay? But if you didn't have a system like Heikin Ashi, okay, maybe you exited here when the actual price bar here would have been green, okay? Because it opened here and it closed here, okay? So this keeps you, and look how solid these Heikin Ashi reds are. There's no reason to exit yet. Now, if today's close is like this, you can kind of see now we're starting to get a really kind of a thin red Heikin Ashi. So if we get a day or two of consolidation, you may decide to exit. When would I exit this trade though? The rest of the trade? When I got a green dot, okay? Because this could continue for another 20 days, or in 3 days we could be out, okay? Yes, John, it is. you can email me, okay? UPS, right? So it's kind of telling you, right, those services are very, UPS and FedEx are very bearish right now, right? But again, today, what'll happen is, here's a great example. So right now, UPS is showing down 11, right? Because that was as of close of yesterday. So let's say this stays like this and this turns green today, okay? When this updates, when this radar screen updates today, you know, right after the close, we're going to get a yellow here. This will then turn from down 11 to trans 1. Okay, so if you were looking to enter long on UPS, that would be an aggressive one. You could wait one more day even, and then you would have green would be up 2, which I'll show you some up 2s in a minute. Okay, then that could be your entry point. Okay, so you're always going to catch on the radar screen those type of moves. And now look at all the ups. So here's LLY is an up 2. Okay, so you know we got the yellow dot right here saying trend reversal possible, right? And then the next day it had the big move up. So obviously, you know, that's not, today's not a good entry after that type of move. Let's look at Starbucks. Okay, so Starbucks, you're getting all this Christmas color, I call it. When you have Christmas color, okay, that's what I like about the dots. Okay, look for something else, okay? And when you're in a trend like this much of an uptrend, okay, I typically only look for longs in the resumption of the trend, okay? I think that's the safer bet for everybody. Okay, so ABBV, again, let's say you entered right here, okay? If you entered here at this green dot, okay, should you be out of it based on my rules? Not yet, right? Not red. You can see here, you had a couple indecision days, but it's still green now, okay? That's how you look at this, right? Green, right? This is how you can really build your account, folks. Not every trade's going to do that, but look at the excellent exit point here. You made this entire move, okay? And then if you waited, either the yellow dot or the red dot is when I get out, okay? Even if you exited at the close of this red, you made this entire move instead of maybe exiting right here or right here, okay? That's what Heikin Ashi can do for you, okay? And again, you can create a quick scan that you can say, I want you to scan for all stocks or all futures or all forex, or hey, just the S&P 500, okay? Just the S&P 500 for today, right? You can create any scan you want and tell it when you want it to run, whether it's the end of the day every day, okay? And then you can just click on it and it's going to show you those results, okay? So it's very powerful, very powerful. Let's look at some uptrends though, okay? So look at Goldman Sachs, okay? Again, look at that, right? It's crazy. So let's say you're looking at Goldman Sachs as a long play, okay? You're in this trade, maybe you got out right here, okay? Right here. Two dots later, you're back in, and you're still in this trade, folks. And that's the key. They're not all going to be like this, okay? But you don't need every trade to do this to really build up that account, right? Absolutely. And so this updates every evening, you know, and so let's say you're bearish, okay? You can go to the trans 1 or the down 1, the down 2, right? Click on it, and there you go, okay? Boeing right here. You can see, like I said, you know, look at something like Amazon, right? Maybe you're looking to go long Amazon, right? So the cool thing about this is you're not going long during this, right? Absolutely not. You're waiting now. Now we're at the bottom of the Bollinger Band. Look at that little wick today. But you're just waiting for Heikin Ashi to turn back to green, and there's your potential fantastic entry, right? Amazon is one of my favorite long plays this time of year, but you have to wait for the entry, folks. There's no entry yet. Look at all the wicks at this price though. This could be a great entry, but I'm waiting for Heikin Ashi to tell me it's time, okay? You have to have rules, folks, to be successful at this, okay? Yes, Ed, I do like the Laguerre as a confirmation trigger as well. I didn't want to put anything else on it today but this package, okay? Obviously, I also would have my seasonal data up here and all kinds of stuff as my trading system, what I like to use, okay? But so many people have their own trading systems. What I'm here to demonstrate is I recommend using Heikin Ashi as part of that to enter and when to maximize those type of trades. Great question. Okay, great question. Yes, so in this chart, these candles that you're seeing, the color, are Heikin Ashi candles. The lines are actual price open and close. Okay, that way you can still see, so again, let's look at this one. Okay, it opened up today right here, the actual price. Okay, and let's say today it was a close already, we closed here. Okay, if you were looking at a regular price candle, this would be a green candle, right? But it's red because Heikin Ashi is still saying, even though price may close higher, the tap over your shoulder, relax part of it saying, no, we're still in this down move, okay? That's the beauty of it, okay? So as a general strategy, how you would use this, okay? If you were gonna use this system right here, nothing else, okay? What I would do is take trades in the direction of the trend after retracements, right? Meaning, again, if you bring up something that's been trending, right? FedEx, right? So let's say if you're in this, you're still in it. But let's say, we fast forward and this thing comes up, let's say FedEx heads back up, hits 260, right? You've got some green Heikin Ashi, and then you get a red Heikin Ashi like a week and a half from now, okay? That's your re-entry because the dominant trend from this has been to the downside. Okay, does that make sense? So I would go in the direction of the trend, look for those retracements for the re-enters once you get the candle in your color. Okay, again, very simple but effective strategy. Go with the trend. The trend is our friend. Okay, that is a cliche, but it is true. Okay, all right. Bear with me. Just bringing up my charts again here, or I'm sorry, my PowerPoint. Just bear with me 1 second. Okay. So what I'm going to do, folks, as I always do with my launch specials, you're basically going to get this trading system here right now for 748. Okay, it's going up to 990, 998. The other thing I'm going to do for you is, folks that purchase this, next week, I'm going to hold a webinar just for you and go over some more advanced strategies and then answer any question. And, once you play with it, and then you may have more questions, right? So, and that will be recorded next week so that if for some reason you can't attend, you're not missing out, okay? But again, what will happen is when you decide to purchase this, you'll see it in the when it comes back, you'll see it. It'll say, give me your network and customer ID. Okay, this is coming from the App Store and TradeStation. So once you give me that, I'll send it over to TradeStation, and then it can take up to 24 hours, but they're pretty fast right now. And then you'll have access, and all you'll have to do is accept the agreements in the email. And this is a lifetime license. Okay, let me clarify that, lifetime license, and any updates to it, that's included. Okay, and then you'll agree to terms, and then once you go back into your TradeStation from the App Store, it'll come up and it'll be there for you. You don't have to play around with anything. It'll be all there for you. Okay, that's the benefit, again, of that TradeStation App Store. Okay, so again, 748. I'll have that special for another week or so. And if you have any questions, please reach out. That number there is my cell phone. Again, feel free to text me, call me if you have any questions on that. Those of you, if you haven't seen the webinar for Thinkorswim, yes, this is available for Thinkorswim too. Just send me an email, support@seasonaltraderpro.com, or text me, and I can send you the link there as well if you're interested. But Heikin Ashi is something that, again, I've used it for years. I got away with it. I got away from it, I should say, a couple years ago, when I kept honestly going back and forth on charts, trying to get between price and Heikin Ashi. And then, the beautiful thing about programming and scans now, I mean, I can find my favorite trades in the evening, within 10 minutes, I'm good to go, right? And not only that, but high probability trades. Okay. Yeah, that package comes with the scan as well. Yeah. And if you're interested in my alert service, email me. Absolutely. Today's webinar is definitely focused on Heikin Ashi, but send me an email and I'm more than happy to help you out with that as well. Okay. All right, folks. Well, again, I did paste that link in the chat, and this is recorded, and later on tonight, you will get the recording with the link as well. If you have any questions, no pressure. If you have questions, though, please reach out to me. And I look forward to a great 2021. So best of luck, everybody. Happy New Year. One other thing, if you're not on my watch list or the webinar list for every Wednesday, okay, when you go to seasonaltraderpro.com, okay, seasonaltraderpro.com, you'll see you can sign up for my free Wednesday webinars, okay, where I'll show a bunch of my tools and give what I see in the markets and so forth. That's definitely a free tool that's recorded that you should all take advantage of. So other than that, folks, have a great rest of the day, and I wish you the best. Take care now.